You might feel like you're not normal. And I know on this podcast, I often say that it's normal to feel things like shutdown in particular, or to be in a shutdown state. I'm going to respond to this comment I got on YouTube with someone who kind of questions how normal this stuff is. And well, I'll get to it. Hey, I'm Justin Sinceri. I am a therapist, a coach, and the creator of the Polyvagal Trauma Relief System. Welcome to Stuck Not Broken, where I teach you how to live with more calm, confidence, and connection without psychobabble or woo-woo. So first off, I read all the comments, as of right now at least. It's not too overwhelming. I do read them all. I don't reply to them all, but I do read them all, and I appreciate all the positivity, and I kind of smile at the other stuff. One that really got me smiling was someone thought, or they knew that I was of the devil because I have a bald head. The reality is I don't grow hair the way I used to, and so this is what I'm left with. I actually did this survey about shutdown, and I got a bunch of responses from a bunch of people in shutdown that I can't wait to share with you. I'll tell you more about it at the end of the episode. For now, I'm going to focus on this YouTube comment. Anyhow, this comment I got on this video called Ultimate Guide to Healing Dorsal Vagal Shutdown of Polyvagal Theory. And the question here, I'll just read it. Question and statement. They ask, why is saying that I'm in shutdown normalizing it? It's not normal. Normal people can walk their dog without being afraid that neighbors will see them. It's shutdown. Here's my thoughts. Shutdown is a normal response to abnormal situations. It's a normal response to neglect and abuse, especially ongoing neglect and abuse. Shutdown is a state of the body that we enter when we cannot run away, when we can't be safe, we can't run away, we can't fight. The body goes into shutdown and or freeze, but we'll just focus on shutdown here. So it's a normal state of the body. It is a normal, expected, typical reaction to abnormal situations. So when we look at a behavior like walking the dog is going outside, walking the dog without fear. That's an ideal. We would like to be able to do that behavior. That doesn't mean the person doing it is normal or abnormal. They're just doing a behavior. If that same person had the same or similar life context to someone who is in a dorsal vagal shutdown, they likely would not be doing that behavior. It would be normal for them to be in shutdown, and the expectations of the shutdown state are they would not be outside walking their dog. As they come out of shutdown, then it's expected that they would be outside walking their dog or doing something that's slow and in the moments. Something like it could be gardening, it could be doodling alone in the corner of the room. It could be something that is sensory, something that uses their senses to help them slowly come out of shutdown. So the person that we see walking the dog, they're not abnormal or normal. They're just a person walking the dog. They could very well be in a shutdown state or starting to come out of it. In my client work, it's pretty typical that going for a walk every day is that's a really good start. Or it's, a couple steps down the road. Maybe the first thing is putting a little more structure into the day. I'm going to dedicate myself to getting out of bed, showering, brushing my teeth, and just basic stuff. If I can get the basics in place, then maybe I can do something bigger like walking the dog. For someone who doesn't exist in a shutdown state or in a defensive state, this might sound ridiculous. It might sound abnormal, but these behaviors or the lack of a capacity to do what looks like simple things, it's just not on the table. It's not quite as easily accessible. It's just not. So it's not an issue of abnormal or normal. To me, it's more about the behaviors. Are they expected or unexpected, maybe, or from a certain state? And the state, in this example, shutdown, the state, the word normal, to me, that means, or I'm suggesting that the state is a normal reaction to the context of someone's life. If someone is raised in a home where they're not being taken care of, their parents are not emotionally available, their parents don't form a healthy attachment with them, and maybe they even flat out have abusive upbringing or dangerous environment around them. When you put all these pieces together, It's a normal reaction. It's normal for that, or it's expected that their body is going to enter into a shutdown state eventually. Like that. That's what I mean by normal. If the word normal from that video is that's what you're referring to. They go on to say, it's so much to get into, but I'm so afraid my neighbors think I'm rude or dangerous, so I stay inside. I'm literally not normal. And wherever I feel like I could rejoin society, something happens to remind me of how different I am. And I don't know how admitting that something abnormal is happening can change it. When I say, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, but when I talk about normalizing, I think I'm using the word normal a different way here. When I talk about normalizing what state you're in, there's a 3-step process that you might be referring to. Validation means like you're just saying it, you're acknowledging what's happening. You're acknowledging what you feel or what state you're in maybe. So when you say, and I'm just talking in general, when someone says that they feel sad, that's validation. You're validating. You're saying it out loud or in your head. You're acknowledging it. Normalizing is saying, my feeling of sadness, maybe it's not ideal, fine, but my feeling of sadness is a normal and expected reaction to the context of my life. If somebody else had my life, I would expect them, or it would be normal for them to have the feeling of sadness. If they had the same situation as me, they would likely feel the same way. So you validate it and you normalize it. And the next step is giving it permission to exist, to be there, but that's out of the scope of what we're talking about here. They said, I don't know how admitting that something abnormal is happening can change it. When we say that, when we judge what we feel, it doesn't help it. That's not validation. When we say that I feel sad and that's stupid, that's not exactly validation. Like, yeah, you're acknowledging it's there in a way, but you're doing it with judgment. So maybe that would be kind of validation, but it's definitely not normalizing it, and it's definitely not giving it permission to exist. And that's fine. That's normal. That's typical. That's normal for people who exist in a defensive state. They judge their feelings. They evaluate them. They want them to go away. They want them to stop. And I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them for that whatsoever. It's a very uncomfortable experience, right? To say the least. So this person goes on to say in their comment, if I think I'm wearing a green shirt, but everyone goes through the day, says it's red, then I don't know what to do. I know I don't know everything and that I could be wrong. Sure. I know that I could just think I see green, but I don't, right? It would be abnormal for me to say, nope, green. If the constant feedback I get is red, no matter how sure I am of green, I don't know what to do. Thinking that you're wearing green is different than evaluating the validity of green. If I'm wearing green, which I am, if I'm wearing green and someone says I'm wearing red, we can, if the issue is what's true, there are objective measures that we can go through to discover the trueness of that. That's not what this discussion is. I don't think, from what I'm reading for the rest of the comment. The issue here is I'm saying I'm wearing green and I can't accept it, or I don't like it, or I don't want it. I can't normalize that I'm wearing green. Normalizing wearing green would be like, I like the color green, so I'm wearing green. Oh, that normal, it's expected, it's normal that I'm wearing green because I like the color green. The color green is not normal or abnormal, whether we agree on its existence or whether we debate on whether the color that we wear is that color. It's not abnormal or not normal, it just is. And the pigmentation of the shirt that I'm wearing is a normal response to the process that the shirt underwent in order to be created, right? So the factory or the person added dyes and I don't know, this or that, which equals a green shirt. Likewise, if someone exists in a shutdown state, whether they like it or not, or whether they believe it's a normal response or not, whether they believe that shutdown state is a result of the context of their life, just like the factory produces a shirt that is green. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's quite that simple, of course, but metaphorically, I think it holds. So who we are is a product of our upbringing, or is a product of some life context that we've been through. Who we are in this moment must stem from our past. I don't know, it can't stem from the future. And the present, of course, affects who we are, but this present now makes the present 2 seconds ago the past. So our past is always defining who we are. So metaphorically, it's like the factory is always creating who we are in the present moment, our current state. So if you exist in a shutdown state, that is a product of your life's factory. That is a product of your upbringing or what happened 2 minutes ago or 2 years ago or 20 years ago. It doesn't always have to be childhood. So it's a product of it. The issue is not, am I wearing green or red? I don't think. The issue is, for yourself, whether anyone else agrees or not, can you validate what you feel? And what other people think of that is not, I don't think is hugely significant. I don't think someone can tell you, no, you feel this way. If they do, that seems like a red flag to me, honestly. So the issue is not, can we agree on what I feel? It's, can you as an individual, and just talking to general you, can you as an individual validate what you feel? And if not, that's fine. That might be something to work on. Can you as an individual validate how you feel? I feel sadness. I feel alone. I feel empty. Those feelings likely come from a shutdown state, but maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you just focus on the emotions of it, and that's fine. Can you validate how you feel? Can you just admit or acknowledge? I don't like the word admit. Acknowledge how you feel. And if you can do that, that's the first step. The second step is, can you normalize it? Can you make sense of why you feel the way you feel? Of course, based on past circumstances. Of course, based on whatever factory produced you, metaphorically. And if you can do that, then the next step is, can you allow yourself to feel that way? That doesn't mean that you allow yourself to cut yourself or abuse drugs and alcohol or bully someone or isolate in your room. Those are all behaviors that, that's a different discussion. I'm not saying that. Can you allow those feelings to be there? And if not, that's fine. The next step is to either cope with them through some means or to build the strength of your safety state. And that's a whole just other discussion as well. So I don't know. After all this, I guess, what's the point here? Is it normal or not? Let's maybe think about it as it's an expected reaction to the circumstances of our life. If we can't agree on that, then yeah, you're probably stuck thinking that you're abnormal as a human being, like in your essence, that you're somehow born abnormal. I personally don't believe that, and in my clinical work, I haven't seen that. If what I'm saying makes sense, then there's another path that you can follow here. If you can validate how you feel, and then if you can make sense of it, well, all of a sudden we have a new path, I think, because now you can allow it to be there while anchored in safety. And if you can do that, then ideally, or hopefully, likely, potentially, the symptoms or the experiences you're having might reduce in their intensity. I would love to know what you think, though. Please leave a comment if you agree or disagree about the whole normal thing. Is it normal to be in a shutdown state, or am I missing something? Or is the person who wrote the comment missing something? I appreciate the comment. Great job. I really do, because it gives me a chance to clarify these ideas for other people. And I'm sure someone else is wondering the same thing. And I know that you don't feel normal, not just the person who wrote this, but everyone. You probably don't feel normal. In my clinical work, that's what people say is, I don't feel normal. I feel different. I'm not like everybody else. But the reality is you are like many other people that are existing in a shutdown state. I did this survey about a month ago to my email list, and I got a great response from it. And it's all from people in a shutdown state sharing their experiences, not their past context. I didn't ask them about that, but it's sharing their lived experience of being in a shutdown state. My hope is that as I release content like videos and podcast episodes about this survey, that when you hear it, that you, dear listener, will feel like, oh, other people are experiencing, or other people can relate to me. Other people can name what I'm going through. Maybe I'm not that abnormal. And hopefully you can get new language and ideas for what you're going through, but also how to handle it. But that's coming out hopefully very soon. Actually, it'll probably be a number of episodes focused on shutdown based on this survey that I got, or the responses to the survey that I put out to my email list. If this stuff interests you and you're ready to take those concrete next steps in learning about the polyvagal theory and learning how to build up the strength of your safety state, in learning how to actually feel your defensive activation, like sadness and numbness, I have something that I created. It's called the Total Access Membership. It has my 3 courses in it and my private community. I invite you to be, or at least check out the Total Access Membership. I'll have a link in the description. It has courses, it has the community, it has the knowledge that I think you need, and concrete next steps on what to do with it. Plus, it has a really wonderful, small private community. No one's sharing trauma stories. They're all really cool, supportive, sharing their ideas, their thoughts every day. And I welcome you to be a part of it. Otherwise, I hope this has been helpful for you, and bye.